everyone, welcome to part 2 of the Halloween spider cowl. Today we are going to be making the body and the legs. So how about we just jump right in and get your crochet hook, your yarn, and you'll need a row counter. No other special tools needed for this one, like stitch markers or anything. So but you will need your stuffing, so make sure you have that on hand. All right, so for the body, it's going to be hind end up to the neck. So we're going to be starting at the hind end of it. So we will need to make a magic ring. So how I do it, if you don't remember from the last time, pinch in between your thumb and your finger, spread your middle finger and pointer finger out, come in front, and then cross over. Take your yarn needle, hook, go under the front, grab the back one, pull out and twist, and then grab your working yarn and pull through, making a knot. Cinch that one down, and then we're going to chain one. To me, this makes it a little easier to get in that first single crochet. I don't count that as a chain. I just see it as securing the double part of the yarn. All right, so with our magic ring made, we are going to put 5 single crochets into the magic ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is row 1. Scoot them over and cinch it down. All right. Now we're gonna, this is the chain 1 right there. This is your first stitch. So we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch. And remember, same as last time, when you slip stitch, cinch the slip stitch down so it's not confused with a stitch. Chain 1. All right, so that is row 1. Now we are on row 2. And we are just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around, so we're going to have 5 stitches. So go back in where you slip stitched and do a single. That's 1. Go to the next stitch, 1 single, 2, next one, that's 3, next one, that's 4, and you should have 1 stitch left. And that's number 5. Alright, so this is going to be a little odd, so you'll have to fill in the gap here. So if you need, make a little slack here on the loop. Go into your first stitch, slip stitch, and pull tight so it closes this gap. Bring your string back down and then chain 1. So you should still have 5 stitches. All right, so now on to row 3. So for row 3, we're going to do an increase row, and that is 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So go back in where you slip stitched and put 2 singles in that stitch. In the next stitch, 2, 1 and 2. In the next one, 2, 1 and 2. In the next one, do 2, 1 and then 2. In the last stitch, do 2. Caught my tail from the inside. All right, 1 and 2. So now it has increased to 10 stitches. So you should have 10 stitches for round after round 3. So slip stitch in your first stitch, tighten it down, and chain 1. Row 4, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 in the next stitch. And that's what we're going to repeat on this row. 1 in the next stitch and then 2 in the next. One in the next, and then 2 in the next. All right, 1 in the next, and then 2 in the next. All right, so you should have 2 stitches left now. So 1 in the next, and then 2 in the last stitch. 1 and 2. So you should have 15 single crochets now. Let's slip stitch in the first stitch, tighten it down, chain 1. Row 5, we're going to do 1 in the first stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and then 2 in the next. And that's what we're going to repeat for this round. I'll do it one more time with you. 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next, and 2 in the next. 1 and 2. All right, so I'll meet you at the end. All right, so I made it to the end of round 5. You should have 20 single crochets. So we are going to slip stitch and chain 1, and we are going to start row 6. All right, so for row 6, it's going to be 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next, 1 single crochet in the next, and 2 in the next. And that is what we're going to repeat for this round. So 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 in the next. 1, 1, 1, and now 2 in the next. And I'll meet you at the end. Alright, so for round 6 you should have 25 single crochets. Round 7, slip stitch, and chain 1. Alright, so round 7 we are going to do 1 single crochet in 4 stitches, and then 2 in the next. So 1 in the first one, 1 in the second one, 1 in the third one, and 1 in the fourth, and then 2 in the fifth one. Sometimes I like to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6 would be in the same stitch. So if you hear me count like that, that's what I'm doing. So 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and then 1 in the next, and now 2 in the next. Alright, so that's what we're going to repeat for this round. 1 single crochet 4 times in 4 separate stitches, and then 2 in the next. And I'll meet you at the end. Alright, so I made it to the end of round 7. We're going to slip stitch, and chain 1. And for round 7 you should have 30 single crochets now. For round 8 we are going to do 1 single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now in the next stitch put 2 single crochets. And that's what we're going to repeat for this one. 1 single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 in the next. And I'll meet you at the end. Alright, so for the end of round 8 you should have 35 single crochets. Now we're going to start round 9. And this is going to be our last increase row. So slip stitch into your first stitch, tighten it down, and chain 1. All right, so for row 9, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches and then 2 in the next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now 2 in the next. 1 and 2. And that's what we're going to repeat for this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now 2 in the next stitch. 1 and 2. And I will meet you at the end. Alright, so I made it to the end of round 9, and you should have 40 single crochets now. So slip stitch, tighten it down, and chain 1. Alright, so round 10 through 24 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you're just going to stop increasing, and just it will make it curve and elongate the body. So it's just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and at the end of each row, make sure you slip stitch and chain 1. And about row 15 or 16, you might want to start stuffing it lightly. Do not overstuff. And stuff it as you go, as needed. And try, when you're stuffing this part, do not stuff very much in it. We want it to keep its shape, because that's going to be where his web comes out. So we want it to keep that shape. Alrighty, so I am going to finish doing rows 10 through 24, and I will meet you back. And after that, row 25, 26, and 27 are the decrease rows, and we'll be done with the body. And this is just what you're going to be doing for the next 14 rows. If I said 10 rows, I'm sorry. I meant next 14 rows. Rows 10 through 24, just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And then slip stitching as you go. Alrighty, well, I will meet you back at row 25. Alright, so I was going to show you how to stuff the inside, this part and this part. I did finish rows 10 through 24. So before I show you the decrease rows, I'm going to show you how to stuff it. Now, for this tip part, take a small, tiny amount and roll it into a ball. Try to get it to where it's, you know, and what you're gonna do is you insert it and try to keep the shape while pushing it in to the dip in there. And then just take some of the stuffing, flatten that out, and put it inside, and push your hand, put your knuckles in and push like this to kind of flatten it against this part. And I do that with all the stuffing. I try to, because it makes it not as fluffy. And I just kind of keep pushing it in and packing it down. Okay, so I'm gonna stop stuffing it there, and once we get the last 3 rows done, we'll finish stuffing it. Alright, so you should have still had 40 stitches around, 40 single crochets. Alright. No, that's wrong. Okay, I had it already set to 25 and changed it to 26. I'm sorry about that. So we are on row 25, and there are 3 more rows left. So for row 25, we are going to do 6 single crochets and then a decrease. So 1 single crochet in 6 different stitches. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we are going to do a decrease, and this is an invisible decrease, same as last time. So you got the front of the stitch and the back of the stitch. You're going to insert your hook in between the two, just like that. Grab your yarn, pull it through, go to the next stitch, go through it, and yarn over, pull the loop through, yarn over, and pull through all 3, and that is an invisible decrease. Alright, so 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches in each of the next 6. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, decrease. All right, again, 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches each. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, decrease. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, decrease. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches left at the end. So your last one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last decrease of this row. All right, so slip stitch, and chain 1. So for round 25, you should have 35 stitches now. Round 26, we are going to do 5 single crochets, then a decrease. So 1 single crochet in 5 stitches each, 1 single crochet over 5 different stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think you know what I meant. 5 single crochets in a row. All right, now a decrease. All right, so 1 single crochet 5 times, 2, 3, 4, and 5, decrease. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease. You should have 7 stitches. Yes, 7 left at the end of this round. So repeat it once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Last 2, decrease. Alright, so slip stitch. Chain 1. Alright, so for 26 you should have 30 single crochets now. Alright, so the last row, row 27, this is going to change drastically. We are going to do 1 single crochet over 3 stitches, 1 single crochet in 1 in each stitch of 3. So I think you know what I'm trying to say. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single, and then a decrease. Sorry about that. Alright, so in your first stitch, do 1 single crochet, 2, and number 3, and a decrease. And that is what we're going to repeat on this row. 1, 2, 3, decrease, 1, 2, 3, decrease, 1, 2, 3, decrease, 1, 2, 3, decrease, 1. Ooh, that stitch a little big. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. And we are going to slip stitch and fasten off. You don't need a very long tail. We are going to shove this inside and finish stuffing. Alrighty, so you don't need a very long tail, but you want it long enough it will stay in your crochet inside. Alright, so pull the string out, pull that tight, and we're gonna just push it down here and then shove it inside like that. And then you're gonna add a little stuffing on top of it. On top of that tail. And try to fill out the little area where it curves. If you have to, kind of wiggle it around. You can roll it to try to even out the stuffing in it. All right. Now we will add more stuffing to this once we sew the head on. Before closing, we'll add more stuffing. So it doesn't have to be, you know, completely. So this is the body. And just so you know, the line from the join, that's going to be the bottom. It's going to be hidden, so it will sit like this, facing up. So, all right, so we are done with the body. Now we are going to do the legs. All right, so for the legs, this is row 1, but I want you to estimate about an 8-inch tail. Now, before you do a slip knot, we are going to make a slip knot. This is similar to how you started the fangs, but we need a long enough tail to sew the legs to the body, because we are going to be starting at the top of the leg and working our way down to where the foot would be. So make sure you have about an 8-inch roundabout, and take your tail end, grab the back working yarn, twist, and then grab your working yarn and pull to make the slip knot. That makes it slip on the side of the working yarn to secure it easier. All right, so we are going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Same thing like the fangs. We are going to go into the back bumps, but we are going to skip this first stitch here and go into the second one. So into the back bumps, do a single crochet, 1 in each of the next bumps. You should have 6 single crochets when done. All right. So flip your crochet around and bring this edge to the front. We are going to join it in a circle. So find your first single crochet and go in the stitch and slip stitch to form a ring. Tighten that slip stitch down and chain 1. And that gives us a ring. All right, so rows 2 through 10 are going to be the same thing, and that's going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and that should only be 6 stitches for each row. We are not going to stuff the leg. It's small enough it will not collapse on you or anything. So there is no need to stuff it. And when you make it around each round, slip stitch and chain 1. So I'm on round 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip stitch, chain 1. Now, if you can't get your finger in here like this to hold your crochet, you can do it flat like this by going in and single crocheting. Just be very careful so you don't get the other side like this, like going in and sewing it together, or crocheting it together rather. But you can do like this as long as you flatten and turn it. But I prefer to try to keep my finger in the middle so I don't crochet the edges together or miss a stitch like I almost did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I counted the slip stitch. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so slip stitch, chain 1, 4, all right, so we are starting row 5. All right, so I'm gonna finish up the other 5 rows and I'll meet you back for row 11 and 12. All right, so I finished row 10. Now row 11, we are going to start off with a decrease, and you want to do the invisible decrease by going under the front loop, pulling up yarning over and pulling up a loop, go in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and there's your first decrease. Now in the next 2 stitches we are going to increase. So in the next stitch do 2 single crochets, and then in the next stitch do 2 single crochets. Now you should have 2 stitches left. We are going to decrease again. Okay, so that is row 11. So you're going to slip stitch and chain 1. You should still have 6 stitches, but if you can see, it made it slanted. Increase on this side, decrease over here. That is the bend in the spider's leg. We are going to do this one more time for row 12. So we're going to do a decrease, and in the next 2 stitches, do 2 single crochets in each one. And you should have 2 stitches left. Do a decrease. Okay, now we're going to slip stitch in the first stitch. And chain 1. And it's going to make the leg bend. All right, so now rows 13 through 24 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. At the end of each row, slip stitch, chain 1. All right, this is row 13, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Okay, all right, so now this is row 14. So for the next 10 rows, 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I will meet you back for row 25. All right, so I am now on row 25, and this is going to be our last row, and it's going to be decreases all the way around. So we have 6 stitches. We're going to decrease 3 times. So decrease in the first and second stitch, decrease in the third and fourth stitch, and decrease in the last 2 stitches. Might be a little tough. If you flatten it, you might be able to get it a little easier. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to chain 1, and we are going to pull about 4 inches out, and then snip the yarn, tighten that down. We are going to take have your yarn needle, all right, So you can kind of see first stitch, second stitch, and the third one. Have it where your yarn tail is on this side. Find your first stitch and go in between under the front loop only. Pull the yarn through slightly, don't pull it all the way. Go to your second stitch, do the same thing, and the last stitch. Now we are going to pull closed, and it will make a little point. Now you can see kind of where the stitch ended. Fold that over and hold it down and go inside your leg, and then come out somewhere, it don't matter, but don't bend that end too much when you're pulling the yarn through. You want it to just kind of look even with the crochet. All right, now we are going to hide this tail. We are going to work it backwards and then go up the leg, coming through the stitch. Don't pull too hard, just enough to hide it within the crochet to make it look like it's a stitch. And we're going to do that again. So go up and then back down the leg. Don't pull too hard, so it looks natural. And this last one, we are going to go backtrack and pull it. But on this one, put your finger where that yarn went in, and I want you to pull hard to where it indents. Take your yarn needle off and snip the end fairly close to the crochet. Take the yarn needle and where it's indented, go back and pull outward towards you. That will make that little tail we snipped off go back inside, so it hides it completely. And there is your leg. And see how those 2 rows made it bend? Makes the crochet also a little more flexible right there. So last thing is you're going to take your yarn tail that you're going to take to sew it to the leg, and we're going to close up this gap that we have at the beginning. So you are going to find that stitch, the very first stitch, and you're going to go towards the inside of the crochet and just enough to pull it snug closed where it closes the gap, and then you're going to run that tail back through to where it's on the outside. Ooh, got a knot there. All right, and that will help keep that gap closed, and so the yarn will be on the outside of the work ready to sew to the leg. All right, so make 7 more of these, and next week I will be showing you how to assemble the spider, put the legs on, so the head to the body, and the hanger for the spider. I hope you have been having fun, and if you have any questions, you can always feel free to email me. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.